Hey guys, welcome back to Problem Solved. Today I got my other friend Eric. So you got two Erics for the price of one. He's gonna be helping me out setting up this. This is our new temporary portable inflatable spa. This is the Saluspa Hawaii. This one's a little bigger than our last one, and it includes a bigger pump and filtration system as well as a bunch of other features. Just like the other one, I suspect the instructions on this aren't gonna be that great. So I'm gonna take you through how to set it up with the help of Eric over here. We're gonna get this done. Later on, there will be another video because we're gonna do a spa surround with this one as well. We plan to keep this spa probably at least 2 years until we can redesign the backyard and figure out what we wanna do for a more permanent spa solution. This will take care of us and the family in the meantime, so let's get it set up. Before we get the spa actually set up, it's important to put a base down. What this base layer does is it makes it so your spa is not sitting directly on the concrete. So when you do get your temperature drops during use, they don't happen as fast. It's important to put the spa on top of something. Generally, if we sit on the spa for about an hour, you might lose a couple degrees, but if you raise it up a little bit, that degree drop will happen much slower. So we're gonna put this base part down, and then we're gonna get a pad, and the pad is gonna go on top. And then the spa will then go on top of the pad, but you'll see exactly what we're doing as we're doing it. So this is the first part. We're gonna flip this over so it's the brown side. So now that we have that initial mat down, we're gonna start adding the foam part, and the spa is gonna sit directly on top of the foam part. Again, that's so we don't lose temperature too much when we're using the spa. Now that we have the actual base put down, it's time to unbox the spa. We'll lay out everything that's included. Let's get this open. I don't like to use a knife for this. In fact, it tells you not to use a knife so you don't cut holes in it. But let's get it open and see what's included in the box. All right, this is important to note. A few people have left comments. What do you do if you have a leak? My last one, and apparently this one, they come with a little patch kit, so that's really good. Helps out in case you get a leak. All right, while Eric gets the rest of that opened up, we're gonna take a look at these instructions and see how they compare to the last one. So here's the manual. It actually feels and looks like the same exact manual, but we'll go ahead and check that out. Yeah, I mean, that's it. They give you one page for how to hook up the pump, and it's not real clear. That's what this video is for. So for those of you that remember the setup of our original spa, that was a 2 to 4 person spa. This is a 4 to 6 person spa. So it is quite a bit bigger. This one's also rectangular in shape, whereas the other one was a circle. It comes with a much larger pump. I'll take you through how to hook this up. But yeah, this pump is very large compared to the last one. And you see you got four pipes in the side instead of just 3. So we're gonna get this set up and decide where to go. It's important when you're setting up your spa to make sure that you orient everything correctly and make sure that you are close enough to an outlet to get everything plugged in. So that's what we're gonna do right now. We're just gonna kind of lay out the stuff and determine where exactly we want it all to go. Alright, so this spa's got 4 ports here where the pump is going to be permanently connected, and then you have your air input port. The way you determine which one's the air input port is it will have the number 1 here, meaning you start there. But right now, it's just a naked port like that. There's no valve on it, so you're going to have to look for the air one-way valve, which looks like this for this particular spot. For the other spot, it was black, but that doesn't matter. You're just going to take this and you're going to screw it in there. You want to make sure it's relatively tight, and then you can just unscrew this part. All right, so now the one-way valve is on there. So air can go in, but it can't escape. The next part is we gotta connect the inflation tube to the pump. So for this, you've got 4 ports on this. Your inflation port and your jet port is gonna be this upper left port on this particular pump. On the smaller one, which only has 3 ports, it is the bottom right port, I believe. But I can double check that later on. This is the port we're gonna use for this one. This is what's gonna help us inflate this spa. So you take your tube here, this is your inflation tube, it comes with it. You just slide it on, and you just make sure it's screwed into place. And you do wanna make sure that's pretty tight. So the next part is you're gonna take this end, and you're just gonna slide it into the inflation port just like that. It's not gonna click into place or anything, it's just gonna be held nice and snug in there, and then we can work on plugging in the pump and start the inflation process. The inflation process for this shouldn't take longer than 5 minutes. So generally you want to connect this directly to an outlet if that's possible. If that is impossible with your setup, you can run an extension cord. The only thing that you want to make sure of is that you don't go any higher than 12 gauge. Remember, with gauges and wires, the lower you go, the thicker the wire is, and you need a really thick wire in order for this to operate properly and not be a fire hazard. This is a 12 gauge extension cord. You can even go 10 gauge, and I'll probably end up replacing this with a 10 gauge cord just to match this, because this is also 10 gauge. But that's generally what you want to do. You want to match this, and remember, the longer cord you get, the lower the gauge you need. Alright, so now we're actually going to start the inflation process. We have power to the unit, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold down on the power button for 5 seconds. And that's actually going to bring power to this control panel itself. And then we can hit this button right here. This looks like a bunch of bubbles. That's the jet button. That's also going to be the button you use to inflate the spa. So we're just going to touch that. The inflation process is started. So after you inflate it, you want to get it to where it's pretty taut, but you have to understand that because this is going to be outside, depending on the temperature outside, the density of the air will change, and this may become tighter or looser. I want it a little bit more taut than this, so we're going to add a little bit more air, and then we'll go over the next part. Once you have it inflated to the level that you want, you can actually safely disconnect this tube, and because you put the one-way valve on it, no air should come out of it. And as you can see, no air is coming out. So we're gonna put this on, and we'll screw this back into place. Now there's a couple things you wanna do on this step. This is gonna be around the last chance you get before you start filling it up to move it and put it in its final place. You absolutely don't wanna attempt to move it when it's full of water. I don't care how strong you are, you're gonna rip the handles off the side. So this is generally the last chance you have to move it into place. The other thing that you want to check is you want to just kind of listen around the sides and make sure you don't have any air leaks. Even though it's brand new, they can have leaks from the factory. So you want to just check it, do a last minute check around the side, make sure there's no leaks. The other thing you want to do is you want to remove this warning label that's on the inside here. You don't really need that when you're going to start filling it with water. And don't be surprised by the way the bottom looks. The bottom is padded, but it's not supposed to be filled with air. That's so the air jets can create bubbles around the side, and you'll see what that looks like once we have it filled with water. Right now, we are gonna remove this label, we're gonna move the spa into the place that we want it, and then we have to hook up the pump. After you've inflated your spa, but before you hook up your pump, you wanna make sure you use your pump to also inflate the cover that's gonna cover the spa when your water's initially heating up and all times in the future. So we're gonna take the cover out of here, and then we will use the spa inflation hose to inflate it. When you get it to about this point, it's not full, that's when you want to pull this out. Oh, this is a one-way valve on this one. So on the earlier version, the Laguna, that's not a one-way valve, so you have to be quick about it. But I just want it a little bit full, just so it keeps its shape, and that makes it easier to slide into the cover, and then we'll finish inflating it. So now that we have the spa in the final place where we want it, it's time to hook up the pump. A couple things you want to note when you're hooking up the pump: these pretty much line up to where they're supposed to go. These have covers on them right now. Take these off, but don't throw them away. You'll need them later for storage. Down here is your drain. So you want to make sure that this little cap stays on. That's how you drain the tub if you need to do a water change or anything like that. But as far as hooking up the pump goes, it's just lining it up to those ports and then taking off these covers, and then we can just screw in each port. Once you have the pump hooked up, it's time to set up your filter and your chemical distribution. You should come with 2 filters. You get an extra one, and there should be one inside the filter housing. You can unscrew this just to double check. And yeah, there's a brand new filter in there, which is good. Filters typically last about 3 to 4 months under heavy use. So we'll just put that on. Chemical distribution unit. I'm gonna take my brominating tablets. You can watch my spa chemical video to get more information about these, but we're just gonna put 2 tablets in to start. We might need 3. It's a bigger body of water this time. I'll slide these in and there we go. Got that locked into place, and now we'll put these in the hot tub. All right, so this bottom one is gonna be where your filter goes. It draws the water in, and then it shoots it back out up here. You wanna take these covers off, but you do not wanna throw these away. You need these if you're gonna add air to your spa. Pull these off, make sure these are tight. And there's another cover down here. So I'm gonna take my filter, and we're gonna screw it into the bottom. And then we take the chemical distribution unit, and that goes right up top, and that just locks into place just like that. That's it. The water is going to come out here. It's going to be drawn in through here and then come out of here. So now that we've got our cover blown up, we've got our spa inflated, we've got our pump hooked up, we've got the chemical distribution unit set up, we've got the filter in. Now it's time to finally start filling up the spa. You generally want to fill it up in between these lines because the water level is going to raise as people go in, obviously, and you don't want it to be above the max because when you turn on the jets, the water will splash out and go all over the place. Once the water gets above the filtration unit, you can turn on the filtration and you can have it start heating up the water. Keep in mind, it will take about 24 hours to get up to the temperature that you set it to, depending on the temperature outside, obviously, but it raises about 2 degrees per hour. So we're gonna start filling up the spa and then get it started. Alright guys, it's been about 24 hours. I wanted to wait 24 hours before I showed you guys what it looked like all full, just because I wanted the water to be up to temp. So I'm gonna do my first water test right now, just to see where we are as far as balance goes. But let's check out the features. That's what the spa looks like when it's full. Let's look at the control panel here. So here's the control panel. This is what we got. You can see our water is currently 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And this little LED indicates that the lock is on. So no matter what I do, these buttons will not respond. So I can just hold down the lock button, 5 seconds. That unlocks it. And so down here, we've actually got multiple things. I've gone over this in my other control panel video, but this spa has an extra option that the other spa didn't. And that's this button right here. Again, this is my heat button. This is my filter button. Right, it's green because the water is exactly the temp I set, 100 degrees. So the heater is not actually on, but the pump is filtering the water, indicated by this red LED right here. So this button right here on the left is the air jet button. That's just like the other spa. So that turns on the air jets that go around the edges of the actual spa. So I'll show you what that looks like. Here's the water, and if I hit the air jet button, those are the air jets in the spa. We'll turn those off for now. But the extra feature that it has is this spa comes with water jets, which is really awesome. And you can see them here in the water. If you look on the 4 corners of the spa, there's 2 jets there, 2 there, 2 over there, and 2 right there. These are water jets, which means the spa is actually gonna suck in water and then shoot it back out. You can use these to massage your back and stuff like that while you're relaxing in the spa. It's really nice. There's actually a version of this spa called the Maldives, I think, or Maldives, I don't know how you pronounce that, which actually comes with like reclining inflatable seats that go in the bottom here. And we'll probably get those. You can get those as an add-on separately. We'll probably end up getting those just because I like the way they look. I'll try and put a link to those in the description below. Let's try the water jets on here. So the intake for the water jets is right down there. But let's turn them on and see what they're like. There you go. So those are the water jets. All 6 of them on. Those jets are aimable as well, so you can change where the water is going to come out. So we'll turn those off. All right, now we're going to test our water and we'll just balance it real quick and then we're ready for our first soak. So this is what a test strip looks like before it's been put in the water. Let's go ahead and do it. Okay, so we want to wait about 15 seconds before we check the reading on this. You can already tell that we're going to be pretty low on chlorine, so that's fine. We can add some shock. So this is what the test strip looks like after it's been dunked. The chlorine strip is supposed to, or bromine strip, is supposed to be a little bit purple. The testing is supposed to be a little bit purple. As you can see, it's still white. So we will need to add some spa shock. We can compare it here and we can see that our pH level is basically okay. If you take a look here, our TH, or total hardness, is actually right there in the center. So that's actually okay. Our pH is okay, and our alkalinity is right in the okay zone. You can see it right there. So that's good. We just need to add a little bit of spa shock in order to get that chlorine level up. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. So the chlorine level was a little bit low, so I've gone ahead and corrected that. I've got the jets on to mix the chemicals around in there. You always want to make sure the jets are on if you're messing with the chemicals and whatnot, just to make sure everything gets mixed around properly. Especially if you're using granulated chemicals in such a small body of water, it's a good idea to just have the jets running. Someone mentioned in the comment that you could just get a pitcher and you could take some of the spa water and mix all your chemicals and dissolve most of them in the pitcher and then just dump it back in there. That's absolutely something you can do, and that's a very good idea, and it takes care of the problem of using granulated chemicals in a small spa like this. That's how you put the Saluspa together. Looks like it's a really nice one. We're gonna soak in it and see what it's like. Appreciate everyone staying till the end of this video and watching how this goes together. I hope it was helpful. I'll put links to this spa and other stuff that I used in this video down below in the description. I hope it helps you, and I hope you guys think about buying one of these spas. I think they're a really great deal, and they're really comfortable and fun to use, even for kids. And it's getting to the colder weather, so it's about time for a hot tub. If you have any questions, any spa questions, or any questions about any of my videos, please put them in the comments below. I always try to answer those comments, get the best information I can for you. Thank you for joining me for another problem solved.